Yeah, welcome to another episode of Arts Place Conservative Talk. This is number 80. Yeah, show number 80. We've got a great show today. We're going to talk more about the post election lawsuits and what's going on there. We'll even talk about the COVID 19 vaccine that's come out. We're going to talk about how that may have affected the election if it was announced before the election. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about flash drive shenanigans, votes that are mysteriously taken away from Trump and given to Biden. But the big item we're going to talk about is Dominion Software. That's the company that controls all the voting machines. So we'll talk about that, how easily it could be hacked or manipulated. And we'll talk about the vice president of the company, Eric Coomer, how that has some really mysterious circumstances with him and his tie to Antifa. So sit back and enjoy the show. Lloyd will be here shortly. He just went to go get a cup of coffee. So he'll be right back. So we'll just wait around for people to show up in the chat. So what are we going to talk about? Anyway, let's talk about some of the lawsuits going on and some of the other stuff going on. It looks like Trump has won North Carolina. Arizona, they're still counting ballots there. They're still counting ballots in Georgia. I'm not sure if that has been certified to whoever won. There's a couple other states that we're still not quite sure what's going on. Nevada, Michigan, Wisconsin. So let's welcome to the show. As soon as he gets his headphones on, we'll bring in, all right, he's giving me the thumbs up, so let's bring in my co-host, Lloyd Medenhall, all the way from Muskogee, Oklahoma. Welcome, Lloyd.
There we go. Can you hear me? All right.
Yes, I can.
Wow. Yeah, I should have gone in there about 2 minutes earlier for my coffee because I had it all set up. I just had to push the button. So let me get it quick.
So what have you heard about what's going on with the recounts and all that jazz?
Well, I've been listening to it and kind of ignoring it for the most part. I only have one thing to really gripe about is I know all those dead voters voted for me, and I've got my legal team working on that. All those dead registered voters did not vote for Biden. I know they voted for me, but other than that, I can't tell you. I just, I can't tell you. It's like I said on my show last Monday. It's the process that's screwed up. We need to, the system, the process, the method, whatever, the way we do things and count elections, the inconsistency from state to state. Sometimes I think inconsistency from district to district, and we need to address that issue over the next 4 years, no matter which way this turns out. I think that's, if anything, we should have learned that,
I want to say hello to Michael Blade. Welcome to the show. Yeah, we had an issue with a thumb drive. I don't know. Have you heard anything about that? Where a thumb drive, where the guy, I heard, the first story that I heard was this guy, instead of going down to the local Office Depot and picking up another flash drive, he decided, I'll just erase this one and reuse it.
Now, Why was he? What was the thumb? Why was he using the?
The thumb drive was to store ballots on and
Oh, okay.
information stuff.
That's just stupid.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
know. There's
why
just
would
a bunch of weird
why
stuff going on.
why would you even trust something like that? You know, especially a thumb drive. You know,
Well,
uh,
from what I understand, some machines uh, they need a thumb drive to uh, help you to log into the machine because it has your
right.
encrypted data that tells the machine who's on this so that they could track who's been on that machine.
Yeah, and this goes with what I've been saying all along: is we don't have a secure system. We don't have a system
Hmm.
that's reliable, and each state has got, you know, yeah, constitutionally it says the states can make up
Yep.
the do their election, but I think they're in a federal election. We need to have uh, we need to have consistency. We've got,
Yep.
you know, like I said Monday, just cut off federal funding if they don't all use the same machines or the
Hmm.
same method. You know, because this would be so simple.
Hmm.
Uh, I something I mentioned before the show. I had to go up to Broken Arrow to get my scripts refilled. That's another thing I'll be griping about on my videos this week. I'm doing videos again this week.
Oh,
Uh,
good.
so, uh, but I was talking to I went and saw this. Her name is Rin, and she's my doctor's physician assistant, and you know, really nice young lady, a millennial.
Hmm.
Uh, but I was complaining about, you know, she found out I'm the grumpy vlogger and a little more about me, and I I'd met her when I took Judy to see her, but this is the first time I saw her myself,
Right. Right.
and uh, I started to cut. I said, "This has been going on for 20 years." You know, it was like uh, goes all the way back to the day of the hanging Chad, and she
Yeah.
has this like, "What's that?"
Yeah. And
I
I
said,
was
"Let me
going.
educate you."
I was just going to mention about you think after the hanging Chad incident we would have learned something
No,
about how having our voting methods, you
yes,
know, conform to
right,
where we don't have a hodgepodge of different kinds of ways to tally up the vote.
yeah, and it
It's
comes
not
down.
that hard, folks.
Yeah, and it comes down to the fact that each state wants to keep their independence from the federal
Hmm.
government. Uh, they want to. Uh, they, each party wants to have power. They want to have the
Mm.
power over the
Oh yeah.
ballot. You know, and that's what it comes
Hmm.
down to. And that's where what's the word I'm looking for? The integrity of
Mm.
the our voting system
Mm.
falls apart. You know. But I
Hmm.
had to explain to her what Chad was. When I told her about that, I said, "Look it
No,
up
it's
and
not a
watch them."
guy.
Yeah, well, she's, you know,
Who's
uh,
Chad? And
well,
why
when
is he hanging?
she just had that funny look on her face. I said, "You don't have
Oh,
any
kind of
idea what
like
I'm
a
talking
dog
about."
with its head cut.
Yeah, and
What?
yeah, exactly. And she just
Oh.
grinned. She says, "No." I said, "Okay, you need to look it up. You'll find pictures. You'll find
Hmm.
videos of it. Them holding
Yep.
it up to the light. It's all over. You can still find those on YouTube. You know."
Hmm.
And uh, I explained it to her. And she says, "Well, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of." I said,
Yeah.
"Well, yeah, we thought it was too back in the day, but you
Hmm.
would have thought uh, had." Gone through that 20 years ago, we would have fixed it. No, we've made it worse.
Hmm.
We seem to break the broken. You know, that's
Yeah.
just all I can explain. This, you know, it it's just ridiculous. We're worse than a sounds like something you need TP for. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so I I'm just blown away by how
Hmm.
inconsistent our voting system is, and how,
Well, and what they try to do is take a simple thing and they just make it more complicated by, well, we need to make it secure and we need to blah 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 blah. And it's like, come on, folks. Every voter is anonymous. The only thing that's not anonymous is we know that a ballot came from so and so that we know that we already mailed to. That's it. Once we open up that ballot, every one of those ballots has no name or address to it,
right, right.
and
Well,
it goes through a machine, and then that's
well,
it. And
oh,
it just we can't. I don't know. I'm an old school guy. I like the old machines where you walk in and you pull the
right.
handle and it closes the curtain behind
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
And you got
Flip
the
the
little
switches.
levers. And if you
Uh,
wanted to do straight ticket, you just push one down, and it
Yeah,
did from president all the way down to dog catcher.
yeah, yeah,
And then on the ballot issues, you just go yes or no or whatever, and that's it.
yeah.
And that was not complicated. And we never had issues other than, and we still had dead people voting. I don't know how they were able to get them to the voting booth.
That's the question of this. The question of the millennium. How did all those dead people vote?
Well, it could have been one of those like absentee ballots.
Mm-hmm.
I think they had something similar to that for disabled people who couldn't go to a polling place. Like your
Yeah,
wife you were talking
right,
about.
right.
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, the problem is once we got through the Gore Bush thing in that debacle, that
Hmm.
all started because Florida wanted a better system,
Hmm.
and their better system was worse than their old system. Oklahoma, we go down to our precinct, or you get a mail-in ballot. It's a big long placard,
Hmm.
depending on how many resolutions there are, is how long it
Right.
is.
Hmm.
And then you do the front and the back.
Right.
You know,
Hmm.
I know there was a time period we had an arrow, and it had a missing
A
section there.
space in between. You
Yeah,
had
space
to
in between,
fill
and you
fill the
felt
arrow.
tipped
Yeah.
in. Right.
Hmm.
Well, apparently there were some problems with the readers reading the felt tipped in. So they got new machines and updated machines. Now you got a little box that you fill in with a ballpoint.
Yeah.
I think it should be
It's
able to
like
read.
an oval football shape,
Well, ours is a square
thing.
box, but
Yeah.
still.
You fill it in with your.
Uh huh.
You gotta use black or blue ink
Mm-hmm.
pens.
Yeah. But the thing is, once you do that, you stick it in the machine. The only thing you see is it's got a little counter wheel that shows how many.
Mm.
Uh,
Right.
oh, hey, Rick Kelly. Yeah. And like the guy before me, he put it in wrong. They kicked it out. They stopped him because he just stuck it and walked off and didn't pay attention what it took.
Right.
And so they had to have him redo it. They don't touch the ballots once they're given to you. Once
Mm.
they hand you a ballot, you go off and do your own thing. Now, in Oklahoma's case, one of the things that we sit at a table, like
Hmm.
where I'm at, it's at one of the churches down here,
Hmm.
and we sit at a table and do our coloring, and then go
Hmm.
get up and walk over to the machine. At the end of the day, they you know in that box
Hmm.
it's 3 foot by 3 foot in square, and it's probably 3.5 foot deep, so it can hold a lot of those ballots.
Right. Right.
But it's the head that does that. It's the head of the machine is the one that counts all the ballots. It's what registers them all,
Hmm.
and they just pick that up. Now, when they have to switch out that thing, they pick up the head. It's got locking mechanisms on the side, just
Mm-hmm.
like your shop vac does. You just pick it
Mm-hmm.
up, put a new base underneath it, lock it back down. They put a lid on that base, and they put a lock on it in a thing like they do with your electric meter outside, one of them little,
Right.
yeah. They
Mm-hmm.
lock it up like that way. That gets pushed to the back room. Then, as soon as the poles close, they load all those up. They load up the head from the machine, and they load up all those boxes full of ballots and take them down to uh, where they do the, to your
It's
uh,
either county
election
or
board. Yeah, your county
yeah,
election board
election
or your
board.
district election board.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, they don't open those things unless there's an error, and they have to start counting them again by
Right.
hand. And they just run them all back through a machine. And if they still get an inaccuracy, then they hand count and they look at each one individually. But
Right.
it's just that simple, And
Mm-hmm.
we haven't had a problem, since we switched to that 20 years ago. We changed after the hanging Chad. We
Mm-hmm.
decided, and there was a lot of states that use that same method. But the problem is we
Mm-hmm.
states have the constitutional right to run an election the way they want. But I
Mm-hmm.
think we can. I think there should be a way to do it without being unconstitutional, to get these states to,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, anyways, to follow along.
Yeah, have it. Well, yeah, like you said.
Yeah,
I
I'm
was
trying to
going to
think of
go
that word.
somewhere with that, and then that
My, I
had
was
my
going
squirrel
somewhere too,
moment
and
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's all right. Yeah,
Which that leads me into a company called Dominion, which had the software that I think over 30 states use the same software, which is the same software up in Michigan, where some of the votes got flipped from Trump to Biden. And luckily, I guess they caught it and they were able to
you're right,
get
Rick.
it back to where it should have been. But I mean, they say that this is all in house and none of it is on net. It's baloney because a lot of these precincts and counties, they're all interconnected to each other on the internet
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
because the only way they could do it that where there's no outside connection is like what we did before, where we all the ballots were counted at a precinct and then they're locked away and then taken to a district, a voting district, and then tallied up there, and then those votes are, I don't know if they're transported or somehow it gets to the main board where they tally up, okay, precinct went this way, and so many votes for this candidate and this candidate from this precinct, and then they go by precinct, then districts, and so on.
yeah.
And there's
Well,
sequestered. That's the word I
sequestered.
was
That's
looking
yeah,
for.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's. Let me read, and the guys, I told you about. I don't know if I just mentioned it or not. I can't remember if we talked about it before the show, but I did a video talking about and asked everybody to put up comments on how. And that's actually one I think
Right?
you respond to. But let me read what his name is. Steve Calvig, and if he's one of my subscribers, I apologize for not. But I pinned this because I love what he put up there. I asked for suggestions. Here's what he puts up. Let me see. Where's my
Okay.
glasses?
You want to share that, or you're just going to read?
I'm just going to read it because
Okay.
it's just a short blurb. And
Okay.
anyways, I asked for ideas of how to do this. And he writes up, he says, 1, voter polls purged after every election. 2, Vote in person with a valid ID.
Uh-huh.
Request an absentee ballot. No mass mailings of ballots.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you want to vote, you know, if you don't want to go in and vote, then you request an absentee ballot. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Republicans and Democrats in close approximation to where ballots are counted.
Mm-hmm.
Software used in voting machines must be available for inspection prior to the election.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
and they must go through a rigorous
yeah,
test to
but I think
test
either candidate
how
should be
how.
allowed to say, "Hey, we don't trust this software. Show it to us, and let's get your experts in. You know, if you're a candidate, get your experts in to look at it."
Mm-hmm.
They say, "Hey, it's good, Mr. Mendenhall. You're ready to run." Okay, so also the next one is absentee ballots should be counted first. Get that out of the way so there's no hanging there.
Yep.
Uh, then in-person ballots
Mm-hmm.
should be counted. You know, in other words,
Mm-hmm.
they've got the absentee ballots. They can count them as they're coming in, and then put them over in counted pile,
Mm-hmm.
and then have them all counted. Then and you got all day of the election to start counting those absentee ballots. They should have been
Right.
there by then. They need to be postmarked by midnight of the day of the election, and
Mm-hmm.
is my idea. Then results given no later than 8 hours after the polls close. And it could be done if they're using the right type of software and the right type of,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and which I think is a good. Here's his number 8 suggestion, which I agree with too. News media can announce winners and losers only when they get official word from the state.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then here's another great one: increase the penalty for voting fraud.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make voting fraud a mandatory 5-year prison sentence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then make election. Here's a great one: make election day a national holiday, like they do in a lot of countries. It's a bank holiday, a national holiday. Election day is a national holiday, just like the 4th of July or uh, you know, New Year's Day or something. That way you can go down and vote in person. You don't have
Mm-hmm.
to ask the boss to, hey, I need time to go vote, or you got, you know, 500 people in your little bitty precinct all standing there at 5:01 after they've all just got off work, and then it's 4 hours in line to get into your little precinct so you can
Right.
cast your vote. If they made a national holiday, you can go any time of the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was in and out, but I knew to go after 1:30, but before 3 o'clock, because after
Mm-hmm.
1:30, everybody's gone back from lunch, and before 3 o'clock is before everybody's picked up their kids from school and they're out and about and they're, oh, I'll go
Mm-hmm.
vote. Here, kids, you stay in the car. I'm going to go vote. But I think that's one of the best list of suggestions I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I pinned it.
All of those sound really good to me. You
Yeah,
know. Mm-hmm.
and that's why I pinned it at the top, because Steve Calvig, if you're listening or you happen to hear this, I couldn't have come up with a better list myself. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna put this up, and with any other ideas get from guys out there, I'm gonna send it to my congressman. I'm gonna send it to my senator. I'm gonna send it to. I'm gonna put it on Parlor. I'm gonna put it on Me instead of,
Me.
because I'm trying to stay away from Facebook as much as I can. I want to put I'll also start putting my videos up on Rumble, which is a conservative YouTube alternative. Really good group of people. A lot of people. Dan Bonagino is on Rumble now, as
I'll
well
have
as
to
Parler.
check that out.
Yeah,
So it's like a conservative version of
it's a conservative
YouTube?
version of YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
And the people that are on Parler, which is the conservative version of Twitter, are now moving their content over to Rumble.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, did you hear that France is doing their own version of Parler?
oh, are they?
Yeah, it's called Parlez-vous.
Partly. I knew there was a joke in there somewhere. I knew you had to go with a joke on that.
And France is doing their own version of Facebook.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, it's called Me Oui.
Me we. Not to be confused with me we. You know,
Yeah.
because the French version is OUI or
Yeah.
OIU or whatever it is.
OUI.
OUI. Okay, I spelled it right the first time.
Oui.
Yeah. And the American version is spelled WE. So MEWE. If you guys aren't familiar with Me, it's a more conservative. I actually went to it back when Facebook quit allowing people to put up, like in advertise. Now you go into, say, Marketplace in Facebook, and you'll see somebody asking $450 for a gun case that is made out of plastic and it's about this big. Well, message me. Well, they're selling their gun, but they can't say that. Oops. Oh, you're not monetized on this channel, are you? Yeah.
No.
Okay, I can say that word.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another stupidity. What was it I saw? Anyways, let's go on with your list of stuff that you were doing. I'll think about what else I want to rattle on about.
And Spain's doing their own version of a Facebook book called Me See.
Me see. Yes, Agent K, censorship is real. Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
and Mexico is doing their own version of TikTok
Oh,
called TikToco.
TikTok. Oh, yeah, I saw that one coming. Yeah.
See, I've been watching too much Ken Hare, and I'm
You're getting
puns.
you're getting pun happy.
Yep.
Yeah. But what was
That was funny. We had to explain to Jim the monkey and the banana joke.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. That was Agent K is too punny. Hey, I know you probably said hi to everybody, but I want to make sure I say
want
hi
to say
to
hello to Agent K, Steve Carpenter, the View Chaser, Ray Kelly,
Rick Albert,
Rick Albert,
Michael Blade,
Michael Blade.
Yeah, guys, I kind of that was painful hearing Dan explain that to Jim. Dan explained it to him.
Yeah, remember that was on Mel's channel? I think it was, yeah.
Well, you told the joke on mine.
Yeah, I told it on yours, and then I told it again on, because Jim mentioned that. He goes, I still don't get the joke. And
the Jim.
I told
that was
the
probably
joke
on his show
Dan,
Tuesday night, and I missed his show.
Dan just busted up.
Oh, so Dan, we talk about Dan Simpson?
Dan Sampson, yeah.
Sampson, yeah.
The drone worship.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when I said Dan, I thought, yeah, I was actually going to come in on Jim's show Tuesday night, and I just fell asleep, and not watching his show. I just didn't make it that far.
Yeah.
That's why I was confused about Dan. I thought, because I hadn't heard from Dan and heard Dan talked about lately, and so it's like, yeah, that must have been painful to hear Dan explain that to. Yeah, but
so this leads me into Eric Coomer, who is the vice president of Dominion, and he's got ties to Antifa. Because prior to the election, he mentioned that, don't worry, we got this taken care of.
Yeah, I heard something about that. Can't remember where I heard it from. And I've slept since I heard it. So explain it to those of us that don't know what's going on.
Okay, like Dominion is the software company that is used by many states for their elections. And their vice president is Eric Coomer, who is well, he's very far to the left and friendly to Antifa. He was on a conference call with other like-minded people where someone mentioned Donald Trump and the election. He goes, "Oh, don't worry about it. We got it taken care of." So it may be nothing, but it kind of sounded like, "Oh yeah, we got, wink, nudge, nudge. We got it taken care of."
Yeah. Well, there again, that's where we need to have the software open towards each candidate's experts. And, you know, we're in the 21st century and we need to have on our, you know, if I was running a campaign, like I did, I needed somebody who was good at graphics. So I had Curtis Dart, you know. We need somebody who understands software, and well, I had Greg, you know, super hacker. But you need somebody like that who can look into the software, and that software needs to be as encrypted. Going back to, because a lot of the people in here are also our drone buddies. The government and DJI have this right now. Well, till Biden gets in, then we'll all have spy cameras from China.
Yeah.
But you know, they have this ongoing argument with DJI over their software. You know.
Yeah.
And I can't blame them. I don't trust the Chinese any further than I can throw them. I don't even trust them further than I can throw myself. That's bad. But we need to have experts. You know, it's sad that we got to have it, but we need to have an encrypted software program that's certified by the government, by the, you know, the, I don't even know who is in charge in the U.S. government, who's in charge of the actual elections. Which
that would
department?
Be the FEC.
Federal
Election Commission.
Election Commission.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we need to replace all those because they're obviously doing a crappy job of their.
Well, they're more involved in the fundraising side. They gotta make sure that everybody is compliant with you know, fundraising and stuff like that.
That's another thing we need to stop. These trillions of dollars going. You know, if I were to have that kind of money to run a campaign, I would still do it just like I did my campaign, you know, for fun. I'd still just do it word of mouth, plain old thing, get out there, shake a few hands, pass out a few buttons. Then I'd take the money I raised and I'd donate it to a charitable organization, one that was trustworthy, you know, and there's no need for trillions of dollars. And I think that all major news agencies should be required to carry equal. Oh, I'm getting a notice from McAfee saying I'm being cyber attacked. Whatever. Anyways, I'll accept the risk today because all they want me to do is renew it because it's due in 45 days. Yeah. You know. But anyways, I think, where was I going on that tangent?
Oh, we were talking about fundraising.
Yeah, fundraising. I think the broadcast networks, they should be required to carry equal advertisements for each candidate that's either, let's say, Democrat, Republican, and Independent. You know, the top three, you know, or Libertarian, let's say. They should be required. And because that was something Judy was griping about. We were watching, you know, I use the Amazon Fire for my TV. Well, they have the IMDb as one of the apps you can unload it to and watch their stuff. Well, IMDb offers all sorts of great free movies. I'm not here giving them a plug. I'm just saying they offer a lot. But they have advertisements. I didn't see one Trump commercial on that. Nothing but Biden. And if I was old and senile instead of just old, I probably would have voted for Biden because that's all I was seeing, you know. But, or if I was a bleeding heart liberal. And that's another thing I would add to that list. advertisers have to, and they can't charge for it. I don't think the networks, I think they should be required to give a 30-second, two 30-second slots in prime time and
Mm-hmm.
two 30-second slots for each party in daytime. And after that, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they need to stop campaigning, because I think they need to stop campaigning 30 days before the election. I mean, stop advertising on television. Stuff like that.
Well, and here's the problem with your idea, because it
It's called freedom of
runs
speech.
against freedom
Yeah.
of speech.
And the damn
Yeah,
Constitution gets in my way
yeah,
all the
I
time.
know. And the Democrats hate it so much.
And yet
So,
it benefits them.
and plus,
Maybe we can change it so it only
because
works for conservatives.
government can't, you know, pass any laws that restricts freedom of speech, and that's kind of what you're suggesting.
I am suggesting it
Yeah,
within
but
a limitation. But there's a lot of other things that they restrict,
Mm.
and the government restricts it. I haven't seen a Nazi advertising for recruitment on television during my whole life. Have you?
Well, think about it, Lloyd.
I know.
Do you think a liberal organization would want to take their money and place their ads? I don't think so. I mean, they won't even play Donald Trump's ads. And that's the sad thing about it, because freedom of speech
Goes both ways. And that's why I'm saying I didn't say that one party or the other. I'm saying both parties. Okay, so maybe we can't stop the advertisements. They can do the advertisements right up to the day of the election.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we should be able to restrict it under the FCC.
Well, that's an interesting idea. We'll have to.
I'm not saying that candidates can. Okay, take back the idea about stopping it 30 days before. Okay, we can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we can. I think under FCC we should be able to restrict the amount of advertisement, or make it equal. If they play a 30-second one of Biden, they got to play a 30-second one of Trump right behind it, and a 30-second one of the GOP candidate, which I intend to be in 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean the Republican candidate. I mean the grumpy old Patriot Party, GOP. And but I think they should, because that's not stopping freedom of speech. That's giving equal time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they do it after the flipping State of the Union address. Somebody, I don't know, 30 years ago decided, 35 years ago, I don't remember when it was now, decided that the Democrats needed to have their say, or the losing party, whoever didn't have the White House, had to have their 8 minutes of time.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's 40 minutes, and it's like,
their counterpoint to what
their counterpoint. Yeah,
and I get that.
yeah. They should do it on advertising.
Yeah, well, the FCC does have restrictions on how much money somebody could contribute to a candidate, and whether
but there's
it's
so many
either
holes in that.
cash or in-kind contributions, like they're donating. Well, say you got a printing company, you could donate. Printing up some flyers for that company,
or making buttons or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I would be remiss in not thanking Rick Halber for getting all the campaign buttons started and coming up with the sign that I use. And, I really appreciated that. It was a fun thing to do. And he was kind enough to do it for me.
Mm-hmm. And the latest news I just heard is Giuliani is now in charge of all the lawsuits going on with the Trump administration for the election. He's in charge, and I just heard yesterday on one of my favorite talk shows on the weekend. They had Sydney Powell on, and she says, we're going to release the Kraken.
I've heard that several times that they're, this is, like I said, this is as I would say, as those of us that were in the military, this is a total Charlie Foxtrot.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. And it's, let's see, I was going to read what Steve Carpenter said. Ties to Antifa, big cash investments from the Clinton Foundation, Feinstein's husband, and oh yes, the other voting machine company with Pelosi on the governor's. Yeah, exactly. There's too much room for corruption. And, a lot of these ideas that Steve Kelvig put up here, and some of them are the same ideas that are some of the same things they're using in Australia now. And
yeah, that's right.
I've always said that we have to give up certain rights and privileges to live in a civilized society.
Yeah.
We need to start looking whether we're still civilized, and is it time to say, hey, I guarantee you I'm not giving up my gun, okay, but I'd be willing to have to get a new ID card to prove that I'm a U.S. citizen so I can go down and vote, And
it's not that hard. You need an ID to get a library card. You need you need an ID for just about a lot of things.
I got to have an ID to go down and buy a bottle of wine at the grocery store, which, by the way, just started back in, I think it's 2 Novembers ago. We finally started having where we could buy spirits, or at least wine and 6% beer in the grocery
cigarettes.
stores.
Now you need ID for cigarettes.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, unless
and when the Democrats say, poor people, they can't get an ID, well, the poor people, they're the ones doing a lot of the smoking. How do you think they're getting their cigarettes?
Well, here's another thing. Here's a little secret about smoking. Okay, let's go with that on the idea that poor people smoke. Okay. All right. Poor people can't afford to buy the lean pieces of meat, the really nice cuts of meat, or they've got to take their money and make it go as far as they can.
Yeah.
And it's usually, that's the other thing, that's another gripe of mine. But anyways, this usually the more fattening food, the starches, the stuff that'll feed a family with a little.
Brisket?
Well, brisket or not even that, but pork chops and just plain
pork knuckles and
and hamburger rather than sirloin steak, the cheap stuff. The it's only like 71% lean, it's got 29% fat in it, and it tends to put a lot of weight on. So in order to lose weight, they smoke, because smoking curbs your appetite, causes you to lose weight, and that way they can be healthy. They can eat fattening foods, smoke cigarettes. That way they're keeping their weight down, and they're not going to give themselves a heart attack. Of course.
And isn't pop usually cheaper than bottled water?
Yeah, it usually is. Yeah. That's what I mean. That's why the poor smoke, to keep from getting obese. It's weird logic, but think about it.
So let's see, Hennessy or Mad Dog 2020?
Rick's hearing the background noises. Probably your fan. Do you
have?
I
have my. You're probably hearing my furnace fan.
Furnace. Yeah. When we get through here, I'll teach it. To check. To go into because you're using the Tascam, right?
Right.
You go into the settings there and you set your noise gate up to where, and it won't pick up that background noise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, raise your noise gate, further. I think mine's like and of course, I'm using vMix, so I can do it in vMix too. But yeah.
And it might be picking up the fan off my computer.
Right. So you need to set your noise gate, raise your noise gate, because that limits the where it's just your voice, but it doesn't pick up a lot of background noise.
Yeah.
Like like with me, when I go into Greg's show, he doesn't ever have to set the noise limiter on me or the noise gate because I've already got one activated both through Wirecast and through my mixing board.
Right.
So,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, that's just a tip for those of you that use a.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, and
Yeah.
I wanted to do something real quick like here. Alright, so if you like what I'm doing here, and this kind of like my
I like
because what I do on my other channel, darn it, why?
I like what Steve Carpenter put up, and he was talking. Rick Halbert said, "Money shouldn't buy the election." And
Yeah.
Steve writes up a mandatory tax donation each year during the tax year for all electronics of $10 per person. That
Right.
is distributed to all candidates with no other donations being made. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I was going to put my my PayPal on there, and I'll fiddle around with it another time. Anyway, because now on my other channel, you could pay two different ways: super chat, super stickers, and my tip jar, which is my PayPal
Right.
account.
Yeah.
which is-
Yeah. I still have my
so-
tip jar running,
Yeah.
and I actually set that up when I was using. Before I ever started using vMix, I was using Streamlabs, OBS.
Yeah, I was using that.
Yeah.
Oh, and the thing about Streamlabs is you could do cryptocurrencies on there if you want to donate.
Yeah.
And I know you're not into it.
Well,
it's
I
like,
know
oh,
PayPal is starting to get into the cryptocurrencies now
Yep.
too.
That's right.
Yeah, but
And
It's-
PayPal does other currencies too. So
yeah,
if you want to pay me in Mexican pesos or
right.
Iraqi dinars or
Yeah,
well, the French use euros, so euros or pound sterling if you're in England.
yeah, because of they're no
Oh,
longer
there
part
you
of,
go, Steve. Steve's got it. So, yeah, throw in a few bucks, and
Thanks, Steve, for putting that up
faster
there.
I build that up, the faster I could update this computer, and we could do this show using vMix
vMix.
instead of,
Yeah.
and it'll be a
What-
lot nicer show.
Well,
I'll have a
you know,
timer and all that stuff.
right. Well, I use vMix, but I still use Streamlabs or
Uh-huh.
not Streamlabs, StreamYard. I
Right.
just because that allows me, because I'm like you, I only bought the single
Yep.
version, but I can still put myself up full screen, and this background. Actually, I use a combination of all three. This background that I'm using
Mhm.
today, which is different than like the one you're using, which
Right.
is what I normally have running. This background is actually from Wirecast because
Oh.
I've got with Wirecast, I get an open library of audio, video,
Nice.
and
Gifts.
still, yeah,
Stills, okay.
yeah, and images, video, and audio, and like my opening that clock that came from
Right.
I don't know if I think that actually came from Power Director.
Oh, cool.
But it cost me $99 a year to keep my Wirecast license running.
Okay.
Which means I get the updates. I don't get technical support because they don't have any. But
Yeah, as we noticed from Greg's show.
Greg's show, yeah,
They cut him off.
yeah.
They
That's
just said, "Don't call us anymore."
yeah. They won't even let him post in the forums now because unfortunately that's where they have their support is. You want to get hold of them, you post it in the forums. They don't have an email address you can send anything to or anything. You
Right.
post it in forums, which is
Mm.
that's ridiculous,
Right.
you know. But anyways,
Yeah.
I only keep it renewed because I get these really spiffy looking backgrounds. You know,
Might have to think about that. That's how much? It's $99 a year.
that's for the renewal. You have to buy you have to buy the license first, which I did,
Oh,
but
how
I got a
much is the
pretty
license?
for I think I have to stop and look now. It's less than B-Mix, but I think for the same comparable, it's like
Oh,
250
oh,
to
okay.
300 for the same
Mm,
comparable of what we've
mm,
gotten. Yeah,
yeah,
but in the end, you just do the yearly renewal, and
right.
I was in the position to, and I think you actually can bring in two guests on B-Mix compared to one, or two guests on Wirecast compared to one on B-Mix. So
Right.
yeah,
I had a tickle in my nose. So, hey, I want
yeah.
to say hello to Grant. Mr. Stay Drunk is here. Welcome, welcome to the show.
You must have finally woke up.
So, I've been posting this show on MeWe and Parlor. So, hopefully, down the road, we could start getting traction and
Yeah, check
building
out
it up.
Rumble as well because they
Rumble.
also
Okay.
pay better than
Oh,
yeah. They start once you get built up a little bit, they'll start paying right away.
oh, cool. Cool.
So
Rumble. Okay.
yeah, Rumble.
Okay, cool. Let's see what else. Uh, anything else? We're almost to that 1 hour mark, and yeah. So in the next few days, I think we'll start hearing about the final results, and I think December is when all the electoral college people all get together and make their final vote.
Yeah,
That's December
and
13th or 14th.
the other thing we need to look at is these Republicans that are telling Donald Trump that he needs to just step back.
Yeah, concede.
And concede. Yeah, I think we need to get rid of a few. Uh,
Well, he already fired some people from his cabinet at the State Department.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
he also got rid of Secretary of Defense.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, Secretary of Defense because he wouldn't support Donald Trump using the Insurrection Act against Black Lives Matters and Antifa.
okay.
You know,
Okay.
he says I will not I will not support that. Well, if the Insurrection Act is brought forward, then he needs to have people that he can support. But
Right.
and if you guys are wondering,
Mason Kaiser just popped in.
Yeah,
He just got the notice. That's the weird thing about YouTube.
I know well, it's been having a lot of problems lately. Anyways, like last week, it wasn't even working one day. I forgot what night that was.
Yeah. A few days ago,
I think it was
show
Wednesday.
was it? Huh?
Was it Wednesday?
I think it was Wednesday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bill
it was
Thomas,
right
Coast to Coast
before.
Drones.
What's his name? Coast to Coast Drones.
Yeah,
went on.
yeah. He couldn't have his show, well, what was funny is because I was watching something and then I went and did something. I came back and it's like I was getting, I use the app on my iPad, so it's getting all the
Right.
notices, all the videos you can watch on the side.
Right.
But
when you clicked on one of those, it says, "Oops, something's wrong."
Something's wrong. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
If anybody wants to check out on Rumble, let's see. I don't know if you could. I'm going to look and see if it's Grumpy Vlogger or not.
Yeah, here's the rumble.com. Oh, except for Lloyd, it's probably Grumble.
Yeah. Now, it looks like There's no search results for. Uh, so let's see if. I mean, it might be LLJU1.
Ah,
See if that'll bring up anything. Yeah, just type in LLJU1, and that will bring up my video that
oh, okay.
some of my videos. I think I've only got. I thought I put some more up there, but
Okay.
I've only got one up there right now. But I had more, so uh, and I will start having.
Right.
Yes, thank you, Steve. That's my parlor setup.
Oh, okay. Parlor. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll have to. Mine is COLOKID 1960. That's
Colorado
my
1960.
parlor.
Colorado Kid 1960.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh, and I'm also setting up a GoFundMe to help the folks in the Philippines because they had 3 typhoons in a row. This last one was Category 3. A lot of homes have been damaged, so I'm setting that up to get that out there. Hey, Mel, welcome to the show.
Yep. Yep.
Mm,
Yeah, we're coming up. Wow, this has been a fast show today.
yeah,
What
yeah.
happened? It's just like, Mel, I assume you're having a show tonight? He'll probably answer that in
So
the chat.
hopefully I'll have that GoFundMe ready to go later today because
Okay.
just before the show I made a video. I have it on my YouTube channel, but it's in private right now. So once GoFundMe gives me the green light, then I will make it public, and then I'll release the GoFundMe on Facebook and all the other platforms. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I do have
yeah,
2
and the
videos
goal
up.
is $500. So it'd be great if we could break that. And the money I'm going to try and I'm going to give it to the Rotary Club in the Philippines. You know, James Tanner from My PI Dreams.
Right. Yeah.
He's a member of the Rotary
Rotary
Club,
Club.
and
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
like to.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, by the way, on Rumble, as soon as you put your video up and they go through it, you're monetized. My videos
Oh.
are, yeah, you
Oh,
get
wow,
monetization. And you can give them full license. I think right now mine's being analyzed that I do have one up there, but for some reason I put it up 2 days ago. It should have already been approved. I don't know.
What?
Yeah, I don't know how I have it set up, so I got to look. Let's see.
No
what I got.
posts on my parlor page. The only thing I've got on there is like, hey, I'm over here, so come on over. The water's fine. So,
Yeah. And they give you each time you post, you know. Let's see what the agreement is on this.
now I did post on Parlor that there's a show today. So,
Yeah. For some reason that one video of mine's not showing up, but I will start doing I'll be putting my videos on rumble.com as well, and LLJU, / LLJU1,
okay.
and or whatever that link is that yeah.
Cool.
So because one, you can start getting monetized as soon as you get so many. You're monetized once you put the video up there, and then what they do is depending, you don't get any money until they finally get some advertising on it. But
Right.
for some reason, my episode 202 that I just put up on Friday
Right.
on Rumble as well as YouTube, it's still in the analyzing phase. I don't know why. It doesn't usually take that long. I must have clicked the box or something,
Okay.
But what you do is you can license it to them, and the only other to also exclude you also allow YouTube to use it. In other words, they allow you to share the licensing with them and with YouTube. You know,
Oh, okay.
so that way they can get advertising on it. And I may have screwed something up. I'll have to post another video.
Okay.
When I post videos for tomorrow, I'll do that. So,
Right.
but that's a place for us conservatives to go to have a little bit something different than the
Right.
uh, well,
Okay.
the crap that's on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've done an hour, and Lloyd, great show as always, and I want to thank
It
all
was
you
fun.
guys in the chat. We made it up to 10 people, and that's pretty good. I think the best I've done is like close to 15. So if we could get those numbers up, share this channel, please like and share description down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're getting there. We're getting a more steady crowd now. We're getting some of the, some
Yeah.
regular people, and we're getting people in that, some of our regular followers like Rick and Steve and
Yep.
Agent K, of course.
Yeah.
Mason is coming in, and
And I noticed my subscribers is steadily going up. I'm
Yeah.
up to 166 right now.
the View Chaser wanted to know. He'd asked earlier what was up with Jim Wallace. Jim's been sick, is the last I heard, and he's got, and Ray Kelly's in here. We're getting us a lot of the good. Yeah, he had come in earlier, and of course Mel,
Yep.
and some of them don't get the notice, and that's why before I start my show, I make sure I send out the link in Twitter and Messenger and all. I post it anywhere and everywhere, so
Right.
and I started
Okay.
doing it in Parlor now too.
Yep.
Too.
And that's what I just did starting
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you everybody for coming to the show, and God bless everybody. Lloyd, your last moments here. What
Well,
you usually?
I appreciate you having me on here first, Art, and thanks for letting me run my mouth. But remember, folks, what I always say: be kind, treat each other better than you would treat yourselves. All lives matters, including the unborn. God bless and God help the USA. I'm the Grumpy Vlogger.
All right. Good day, everybody. Catch you next time. Bye bye.